If you're in tune to the Ethiopian original tongues known as the Book of Testament, for it was not in the Old and New Testament format, you will know that Abraham is God in flesh, and Abraham is the father to Moses. Why? Because Jacob is Moses' dad, and God fathers himself. So God is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Trinity. And he will let you know that towards the end of times, America and the Jews are going to fight the Muslims. Then America is going to turn their backs on the Jews because they're going to blame them for the loss of so many lives due to the wars that the Jews got them into. And it's happening right now as we speak. So let's read stuff that was written over 1600 years ago. Prophecy is revealing. So let's see what the Most High has to say. At one time, Ethiopia extended both sides of the Red Sea, as well as north to Upper Egypt. It was therefore not without reason that during the Middle Ages, the emperor was known as he who maintains order between Christians and the Muslims. A profound comprehension of and sympathy with the other states of the Middle East naturally inspires Ethiopian national policies. Haile Selassie I. Don't forget, the entire Middle East used to be called Ethiopia. So let's see what's happening today.
You free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, a golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1.
That means war. He's basically saying he's going to war. That's what that means. So let's see.
But you can't ignore something like this. So there's a child standing in the middle of this territory holding a big golden balloon depicting Donald Trump's head. And then a cut to coastline with nice yachts and hotels and real estate. Human beings with breasts and beards will be dancing all over the place. Make of that what you will. That is the maddest thing I have ever seen. I'm not going to criticise anyone. I haven't seen anyone yet, but anybody texting me to say you've fallen into the trap, I can't believe you're talking about it.
It was written over 1600 years ago this is going to happen. So look what's happened. 22 Arab nations up in arms against Trump's Gaza plan. In other words, that plan signifies a war is on the horizon. And what's going to happen? Remember, it's written that they was going to turn their backs on Israel or turn their backs against the Jews towards the end. Why? Because of stuff like this.
Posted a video that blames Benjamin Netanyahu for pushing America into wars in the Middle East. And Donald Trump just posted a video that blames Benjamin Netanyahu for pushing America into wars in the Middle East. And as you listen to this, think of how Donald Trump must really think about Benjamin Netanyahu.
Why did the U.S. invade Iraq? It was a phony war. Where did that war come from? You know what? It's quite surprising. That war came from Netanyahu, actually. You know that? It's weird. And the way it is that Netanyahu had, from 1995 onward, the theory that the only way we're going to get rid of Hamas is by toppling the governments that support them. That's Iraq, Syria, and Iran.
Mesopotamia. And if you know, and if you're in tune to the Ethiopian original tongues, you'll know that the Antichrist is going to come out of Iraq. And they're going to use bricks. Or the dragon is going to give him his power. In other words, bricks is going to give him his power. Why? Because on the bricks $100 bill, you will find the dragon. And it tells you that towards the end, the Antichrist will be from Babylon. And Babylon is just another name for Iraq.
And the guy's nothing if not obsessive. And he's still trying to get us to fight Iran this day, this week. He's a deep, dark son of a bitch, sorry to tell you. Because he's gotten us into endless wars. And because of the power of all of this in the U.S. politics, he's gotten his way.
Wow. So we're going to see really soon if Trump.
You're going to see a war very soon. And notice his majesty. You got to know who he is, because it's telling you God is supposed to be here at the latter times as himself. What is he playing with? A lion. So his imperial majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and conquering line of the tribe of Judah. So he's not just the King of Kings, because they had other kings referred to as the King of Kings. But he's the King of Kings, conquering line of the tribe of Judah. Emperor of Ethiopia, with one of his 30 lions who roam freely around his palace. So let's read about the Most High and who he is. Abraham was a great father of many people, and glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh. In other words, Abraham is the Most High, in flesh. That's literally him. So an everlasting covenant was made with him. Isaac did he establish likewise. In other words, Isaac is God himself. Then it became Jacob. And from Jacob you got the 12 tribes. Also from Jacob he brought out of him a merciful man, which found favor in the sight of all flesh. Moses, beloved of God and men. The name Moses by itself, by definition, means son or son of. So the Father is the Most High, and his favorite son is Moses. And as we could clearly see, Jacob, God acknowledged him as the firstborn and gave him his inheritance. He fixed the boundaries for the tribes. So you got 12 tribes, and out of the 12 tribes you get Moses. Moses is just another name for Joseph. For from him was to spring the man who won favor of all, dear to God and men, Moses. So what does it say about David? King David, chosen out of the children of Israel. He played with lions as with kids. So don't forget, Haile Selassie is literally called the root of David. That means he is Jacob himself. So then you find out about Solomon. So out of David you get Solomon. So Solomon reigned in a peaceable time and was honored, for God made all quiet round about him, and he might build a house in his name and prepare his sanctuary forever. And we all know that Solomon is Moses. Why? Because Solomon built the Ark of the Covenant. And we all know Moses built the Ark of the Covenant. So the holy Ark of the Lord in the house that King Solomon, the son of King David, had built. In other words, Solomon is Moses. Just like Solomon was told to build a temple, Moses was also told to build a temple. Why? Because they're the same person. The Lord said to Moses to build a sanctuary so he could dwell in the midst of his people. In other words, make him a dwelling place that will resemble the heavenly palace or the heavenly temple. In other words, learn about God. So who is God? God is the firstborn. Remember, God acknowledged Jacob as the firstborn. Who else is the firstborn? David. So he himself calls out to me, you are my father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. And also I myself shall place him as firstborn, the most high of the kings. In other words, God has many names, which includes David. So once I have sworn to David in my holiness, to David I will not tell lies. David also goes by the name of Selah. Selah, where are your former acts of loving kindness, O Jehovah, about which you swore to David in your faithfulness? Remember, O Jehovah, the reproach upon your servants. In other words, God has many names, and he's the firstborn. So what does it say? And wheresoever it was found in any of the book of the Testament. In other words, it was not supposed to be in an Old and New Testament format, for it was just called the book of the Testament. You will find that Jerusalem became an evil adversary to Israel. Jerusalem fled of because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers and became strange to those that were born in her. And her own children had left her. Why? Because they changed the end to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. In other words, towards the end of times, the Antichrist is supposed to take over. Thanks to what's going on here. This war is just going to lead to more war. So remember, follow God, not man. Jagai.
These are the days that the Bible record, and Mama used to talk about it. It's a turbulence, the future of the child.